Alright guys, today we're going to talk about how to carry on Zaku II, but in particular how to carry not by being a particularly amazing mechanical player, but how to carry by not making a lot of mistakes. So, it's very important to know on Zaku II that Zaku II is a flanker. You do not want to be approaching the enemy from directly in front of them. You do not want to be trying to fight them for too far of a range. You want to be flanking on their sides or behind them, blowing them up before they know you're there, and then getting away with your mobility. So, our viewer here, who I'm reviewing their VOD, is taking a nice little flank on this enemy. Doesn't end up actually securing the kill. It was the GM sniper. However, it was a good flank other than the usage of this cracker grenade. If our viewer just gets closer enough, then hits him with his primary fire, it would be dead immediately, and there wouldn't even be need to use a cracker grenade. Cracker grenade in particular is for displacing things, throwing it on a corner so the enemy accidentally walks forward into it and gets displaced into you and your teammates trying to kill them. It's not for just pure damage. Your primary fire does it better. So we go back from behind them. This is really good. You try to find a target and kill it. A little bit far from the range here, doesn't end up doing a lot of damage to the Exia. And then we allow ourselves to get hit by an ability here. As soon as you see that charge going off, you need to dash away. There's no point in waiting. It's something you got to keep on your toes. You have to dodge them. Continuing in from behind them, securing kills good. Going to get health after this, fine. You don't want to try and fight against a GM unless you have your ultimate, which we do not on this occasion. So in these sort of situations where the fight's getting secured and you need to capture the point, well, really, end of the point, man. Please. You will carry games by capturing the objective. There's a balance on how much you want to play the objective versus how much you don't want to play the objective. In this game, there's a very quick turnover rate on the point, so you need to be able to have somebody watching the point and be very close to it. It doesn't always need to be a Zaku, but if you're the one there, you're the one there. There's times to play the objective, there's times not to play the objective, but you got to think about it sometimes as if the enemy's all dead on the objective, then they're not able to play it anymore. It does end up getting that simple sometimes. So, going into some more mechanical things here. You don't want to be standing in the middle like this, attacking from range. This is really bad. You want to be flanking. You want to be flanking from one of the sides. Basically always, every time you go in and you engage, you fight them, and then you rotate out from the side and re-engage onto them. For example, in here, an option is to go back in from the side, an option to flank and go into them. Yeah, also there's a lot of usage of the dashes when they're not needed. I'm very confident that the sprint is still faster kind of regardless, so you should be using it generally instead of trying to dash. Yeah, so anyway, we win a fight. Yay, that's really good. Or does it even matter? The answer is no, because we're not getting any capture on this objective anymore. So when it gets to be about 10 to 15, sometimes 20, depending on how far the objective is from your spawn, how many teammates you have there, you got to start thinking like, am I actually going to get any value out of this? So if you're trying to carry your games, you need to be in position consistently. And at this point, we're rotating in late. We have 15 seconds until it unlocks. Like, it's not terrible. It's not so late, but if we're already there, then we can murder anyone that comes in through this choke before they even really get to think about it. So, also, in this situation, it's okay to play in the high ground. You just have to understand that you are going to need to be dropping. Dropping into the ult immediately is good, but now we have two people run away from us, and we're doing nothing up here. When we could have been getting a lot of value. We turn around the peel of Barbatos. Again, attacking outside of our real effective range. The range is actually pretty tight on Zaku. You do a lot of damage if you get close, and the dashes need to be used for that. So, like I said, immediately we miss this dash, we need to dash away. And dashing in a line like this is kind of bad, just because the enemy could potentially just stand there and shoot you from behind. Ashimara does 240 damage. it could 3-shot you with it hitting some headshots and using its ability, or 2-shot you with the ability. You need to, in this circumstance, understand, hey, I don't have enough dashes to get where I need to go, which is, you know, all the way back there. So I'm gonna go into the other objective on the right here and be safe. Our Zaku player doesn't get hunted down, but it's a mistake and will get you killed against other characters, particularly against things like GM snipers or in higher levels where they will continue to shoot at you. So clearing a high ground is good. And going to hunt for these kills is pretty okay. You have to understand when you're taking this sort of a flank here, it's a pretty risky one. You're setting yourself up in a situation where you could potentially just be caught out for not the highest level of advantage. I'm sorry, I have to use Twitch's thing for this. It's pretty garbage. Maybe I'm not using it correctly, but anyway, right here, you're pulling up and there's a Zaku and there's you. You're the same character. You have the same capabilities. You have to be careful about how this goes. Our Zaku player makes a mistake. Their Zaku player plays correctly. So their Zaku player just starts shooting. It ends up missing a lot of its shots, so we don't end up taking that much damage. But if it just started shooting us or dashed into us and started shooting us like right now, instead of missing like everything, we'd be dead. Throwing a cracker grenade is not a very consistent ability. It's not for damage, it's for displacement. Your primary fire does plenty of damage. I know people think it doesn't, but if you just get close on a target, you can one-shot like everything in the game. Don't quote me 100% on that, but yeah, you definitely can if you hit your headshots, considering you have 30 bullets. So for here, again, right now we're looking at, they have B, we're trying to fight for B, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you even win this fight. Sure, it's nice, I guess. It will help you set up earlier on the next objective, but we could just go to the next objective and go hunt something down that's not ready for us. I don't know why we try and charge in with our dash when we're half health. That's just asking to die, really. It's just always thinking about like coming from an angle. You come in from the side, you hit them, and then you escape. And then you come in from behind them or another side, or you go on the other side. You're always engaging and then rotating out and going back to the side. You don't ever want to go from the front. The character does not have a lot of HP. You will just get hit by things and die. And obviously, you can't carry your games if you're dead. So, because we set up late on A, we walk in, 2 of our people are already dead. And, you know, you might look at this and go, oh, well, you know what? My teammates are feeding. But if you're already in there and you're already fragging some teammates, then that gives them a huge advantage. So they can walk in safely. Granted, yes, they do feed. And this guy that tries to res is very silly because he gets headshot also by the GM sniper. Don't try and res in front of a GM sniper. It's not going to work. You don't always have to go in from the side or from the behind. It takes extra time to rotate. Sometimes you don't have that time. Please dash in front of GM snipers. Your hitbox is massive. If you walk around this corner and you see old GM sniper right there and you're like, oh, hey man, you need to dash. You have 3 of them. You have an ability that lets you use the smoke discharger that makes you invulnerable, that also restores your dashes. Please dash. You need to be on your toes on your character, on this character. It has a really high capability, but only for high skill. This is another situation where it's good to use, well, like I said, I think it's just faster just to run back with the sprint, but so we aren't dashing here. We walk up here with our sprint at about the same or faster pace, and we have our dashes still. Right now we don't. If something pulls up on you, a Barbatos, nothing you can do about that situation. Granted, now we get a little bit of time to reload, but don't jump. Ever. There's just no reason to jump with this character basically ever when you could just dash. Other characters, there's viability to it, but so you start putting in damage here, and it's taking some damage, But right here, when you jump, look how big the spread gets. You're doing no damage now. And the Barbatos was playing decently, it would have killed you. This is a little bit of an awkward position. I don't recommend coming through this left side basically ever. You need to go behind or from the side on the right side because you have to walk through a really vulnerable choke right here and you're low HP. You basically don't want the enemy to ever know where you are, and you don't want to ever be in somewhere predictable where you can just tank a bunch of damage accidentally and die, because it happens a lot. But say we don't take the damage accidentally, a lot of things can stuff this choke and there's not areas for you to go to. You can't dash behind them, you can't dash to the side. You're just taking damage. You're just not, you don't have a lot of options. Your only option is to dash backwards, and then that's playing defensively. You know, okay, assuming the player looks at you and or doesn't even look at you, then, but whatever. Something I was also going to talk about is very important. When you down something, you need to think, hey, do I have time to get the kill right now, to get the eliminate, like the finishing of the kill? It doesn't matter for me to do that right now. In this circumstance, no, it doesn't, and you need to go do something else. You're gonna use a whole clip here, force a reload. You did get away with it because you ulted the Zaku, which is a good ult. But there's other stuff you could be doing, and especially in overtime situations, you need to go do something. If there's nothing else to do, then yeah, go ahead. But please get the health. When you're low HP on Zaku, you need to be thinking about how you're getting health. In fights, you don't ever want to just be standing and walking still on this character. You have to be using your dashes. Because when I'm counting like 5 seconds or so, we haven't dashed, and you're going to bypass a second healing. I get it. Maybe you're thinking like, oh, I got to go really fast. But you're no use to your team if you're dead. And as we're going to find right here, you're going to die because you don't get that. I listened to the video. I don't think the GM Sniper hit a headshot. You had 320-ish HP. It does 440. So you died. Also, taking a look at this again. If you had not used your cracker grenade and you just, well, okay, one, if you had your dashes right now, so if you were sprinting, it's okay. It's always good to just have your dashes available. You need them. If you're sprinting, you're just going to have 2 basically at all times. You can double dash onto this guy, full clip him on the side of the head when he's not like at an okay range. Like, yeah, it's a good shot. Hitboxes are massive, so you need to make it as hard as possible. If you pull up, sorry to keep backing up, it's just, I only have 10-second backs up on Twitch. Anyway, right now, if you put all your dashes, and you double dash onto him, and you're barrel stuffing into his face, then you shoot him. If he sees you faster or turns around, whatever, you're going to have your third dash available by then. You dash onto this little server thing, or I guess it's a whole building. This whole building on the right side. Behind him, make him think, and then finish him off with the second half of your clip. You're basically, this character is very similar to Tracer. A lot of Tracer players will shoot half their clip, shoot half the magazine, and then they will dash and then shoot half and reload while they're dashing again or recalling or whatever. You don't want to be predictable because you have like low HP and a big hitbox in this game. Your HP isn't quite as low in comparison to other things as it is in Overwatch if you're playing Tracer, but yeah, also please don't C9. So, has to be aware. For our Zaku player needs to focus on not dashing a lot when you don't need to, when you're out of battle. Dashing in battle, in an actual fight to be unpredictable. Go behind them, go to the side of them. You don't have to shoot a whole clip when you're doing each set. You don't need to like shoot a full clip, then dash, then shoot a whole clip, and then dash. Don't need to do that. You need to push the limits on this character so that you're actually getting value out of Smoke Discharger, because if you're never pushing the limits, you're not going to get value on the Smoke Discharger because you don't ever need to use it. Cracker Grenade is for displacing targets. Yeah, you can use it on some things, like maybe like a Sazabi that you see. You throw it and then you dash on them and shoot them in the face. If you're going from the side of them or behind, but on a character like, but other characters, you can just one clip them. So Like even right here, just for like a small thing, something like Barbatos is not as much as something you need to be concerned about, but it like the hit scan characters that could see you. Either you need to be using this cover right here, but in other circumstances, something with a hit scan would see you at that range and just shoot you, because you always think there's other enemies attacking you at the same time. So, like I said, also please focus on the objective more. Yes, you win this game by killing things, but you really win the game by securing the objective and getting it to the required numbers. If you're looking for some more Zaku videos, make sure to check this one out right here, and also make sure to watch my 6 guides for the mobile suits that I have made so far. They're really well designed. They talk about the abilities, when to play the character, strengths and weaknesses, and a really nice, short, collated video. So, thanks guys. Thanks so much.